Okay, so some further Druidic Triads to consider on our quest to understand the path of the Druid Wizard. If you're following along with us in the MERLYNS MAGICK book, these that we plan to cover in this segment would be Triads 4, 7, and 11 respectively. So let's just get right into it. The three conditions for losing a seat on council or being unseated. These would be performing murder or warfare, telling a falsehood in council, or divulging the secrets of the council. And unlike prior triads, this is more of a institutional triad than one based on cumulative knowledge or anything of that nature. So there we have performing murder or warfare, telling a falsehood in council, divulging secrets of the council. Druids were mainly pacifists. They did not participate in military warfare themselves per se, nor did they really have an active role in the combat of the warfare, except usually to end it when they saw its triviality. There were times, apparently, according to lore, when it seemed necessary to conjure blessings to pass among the Celtic warriors and aid them in their tasks with the use of magic. And the Druids were neither allowed nor did they really condone for others senseless acts of violence for any purpose, and needlessly harming nature was probably more highly even punishable. The Druids highly valued truth. We'll examine this again with telling a falsehood in council. The Druids highly valued truth, and especially among themselves. So one of their secret axioms was actually through knowledge power, and that knowledge had to be considered true for there to be any value to it. In lies and deceptions, you know, if it were to be allowed within the council, it would attack the very nature of the council from within. And so if such breakdowns were going to occur, then the Druids held punishments that were actually more stricter on themselves than for the rest of the Celts. Deception outside of the council was frowned upon, but it was equally taught through, psychological influences and manipulation and whatnot. The Druids were an authority in Celtic lands, and so they sometimes used deception to keep things unsaid among the Celts and hide certain aspects for the better of the community, and even to protect themselves and the mysteries of the Druidic Council. Seem to have lost some of our background lighting here. No technical support to be had. Anyways, so divulging the secrets of the council was one of the most highly punishable offenses, and it could easily result in excommunication, which a Druid's robes would be stripped from him, and his shoes would be stripped from his feet. He was cast out in the wild with a curse placed upon him, and the individual would never find work or shelter in the Druid-led Celtia, the Celtic lands, or be allowed to participate in the public ceremonies and blasphemous. It would be a further crime for anyone in the Celtic lands to help this person who is charged to walk out the rest of their lonely days empty and lonely. So the Druids reserved this punishment for their own, and of course the only plausible solution to it was exile out of the Celtic lands. Okay, so moving right along, the three rights of the British Druids, which are to have shelter wherever they go, to have no weapons raised against them, and also for their council to be preferred amongst all others. Aside from the colleges and forests, it doesn't appear as if the Druids ever maintained significant residences of their own somewhere while they were involved with the order. So, and again, if they did, it would have been in like dense forests or something. Most of them spent their days wandering about the Celtic lands at some length, and then they would probably spend several years at a time going from village to village for whatever reasons deemed necessary. It was considered an important occasion for the village to be visited by Druids, though there were obviously some doing other roles already within the community, the village. The priestly type Druids, who were the wisest, that could heal and grant blessings, were seldom stationed anywhere, so they made their rounds around the country. And when one came, shelter and food were provided, and positive things generally happened to the family that housed the Druid. They were not necessarily priests in the sense of authoritarian religion, but striking one down on the road would be almost viewed as such. A Catholic priest today, a non-violent figure, is generally considered unarmed and is considered not a physical threat. So this is why we would see such ethical issues with it, and someone who did kill a Druid or even raise a weapon against him would be put to death if found. You could view it as if the same as attacking a law enforcement official or government agent, pretty severe. The weight of the words of the Druid held more sway than other persons in Western Europe for that time. And they were said to have final say in public and private affairs that involved the Druids, the Celts, legal matters, things of that nature. Their knowledge empowered them with insights that much of the world did not see for themselves, and these insights drove or led an entire civilization for at least a millennium. So let's okay, 3 influences of a man, and this one can get pretty deep, really. But just to we'll just kind of give a brief overview in it.